Prospect is talk to people. This is a contact sport, meaning the more people you talk to, the more deals you're going to do, the more deals you do, and so on and so forth. So I want to use a very simple example. For the last 2 years, open houses have been lucrative, meaning you sit at an open house and you are guaranteed anywhere from 10 to 20 to 30 prospects walking through the door every single day without even trying. All you need to do, put it on the MLS, and all of a sudden, everyone's coming through the house. And of course, if you are even somewhat decent at conversion, you will pick up a few opportunities every single open house. Awesome. Well, that was yesteryear, and suddenly that's no longer the case. And so it's not simply enough to do open house anymore, because two things here. Let's just think about this. Number one, transaction count is falling, which means you need to talk to more people in order to do the same amount of transactions. A. B, there are less people coming into your open house that you are relying on to get business. And so if, for example, your prospecting schedule or your prospecting activities relied heavily on open houses, how are we going to generate the same amount of results for ourselves, or how are we going to generate more results for ourselves in order to insulate ourselves from the changing market? Well, we have to think outside the box. And that's where a lot of us, I feel, that's where a lot of us right now really need to sit down and brainstorm and think, how am I going to create the same amount of opportunity for myself despite everything that's going on around us? If we're not thinking like that, you are vulnerable. So talking to my team this last week, those who are reliant on 20 to 30 open house opportunities every single weekend as a part of their business, listen, there's still the possibility, the ability to generate 20 to 30 opportunities or conversations for ourselves using or leveraging an open house. But it's not just going to be sitting there and waiting for the people to come to you. You've got to turn the open house into an event. So what does that mean? Well, number one, instead of just relying on putting it on the MLS and having people come through the door, we need to prospect around the house for days leading up to the open house, meaning inviting the neighbors, having conversations with them. Hey, did you know that 123 Main Street's for sale? Guess what? I'm holding it open this weekend. I'd love to invite you over to the property. Oh, by the way, have you had any thoughts of selling? What a concept, right? Inviting the neighbors to the open house to generate seller opportunities for us. And by the way, you might be doing this right now, but I promise you that the majority of your competition is not, which means you have an advantage. Sending out invitations to neighbors, turning it into an event, using Facebook ads, Instagram ads to drive traffic to the open house, putting out more signs. Hey, let's face it, putting out signs, especially in this summer heat, isn't that fun. Are we doing everything that we can? Are we putting 40 signs out for every open house? If the answer is no, then I would argue that you're not doing enough to generate the kind of results that you're used to getting previously. And by the way, that's just one example. There are dozens of other examples out there. The question is, how are you insulating yourself from these shifting market conditions? If the answer is, I'm just relying on the same old shit that I was doing before, you're vulnerable. You're vulnerable. And so I would challenge you, I would implore you actually to really think long and hard about what these shifting market conditions are going to influence you to do. At the end of the day, there will be casualties. When the transaction counts fall, inevitably there will be a lot of people that leave the business. That being said, if you are able to weather this storm right now over the next 12 to 24 months, whether that means a dip in pricing, whether that just means stability, if you're able to weather this storm, you will come out on the other side being practically invincible for the rest of your career. How bad do you want it? This is Danny Gould, everyone, selling Silicon Valley. Stay legendary, everybody.